All content is publicly sourced and used under the USA Fair Use and UK Fair Dealing Guidelines. The things I say are strictly my opinion. Good evening, everyone. It's the Bizzy Bee with the royalty. It is the 25th of January. Happy Monday. Hope you all had a good start to your week. My goodness, have you ever heard the expression? I don't know exactly how it goes, but somebody is better off keeping their mouth shut if every time they open it, they prove how stupid they are. Well, that's exactly what Harry does. I don't know, maybe he spent too much time with Meghan. Something's going on with him mentally. Well, nothing's going on with him mentally. Let me rephrase that. But there's some kind of issue because he just gave an interview to some podcast or magazine, I forget which it is off the top of my head, but he really is going on about some crazy things. And when I say crazy, I'm talking about Kanye West level crazy stuff. Maybe he's on something. Maybe he's just got his head so far up Meghan's rear end, he doesn't know which way is up. I'm not sure. But I wanted to share this with all of you because I think you're all going to get a kick out of it. Maybe that's the wrong expression. You're going to be baffled by it. It's so crazy, outlandish. What is this guy smoking? Honestly, I mean, he needs to get his head out of the clouds. Let's take a look. Harry's war with Silicon Valley. Prince blames social media for the Capitol incident and the destruction of the Amazon and says we're all part of a big tech human experiment while complaining about suffering mothership of the H word. Oh, dear me. That's a lot to unpack in that one sentence right there, isn't it? Blaming social media for what happened 2 weeks ago. The rainforest being destroyed on social media. I'm sorry, I'm failing to connect the dots on that one. How does the Amazon being destroyed, the rainforest, have anything to do with social media? It's like his wife, idiot that she is, comparing people who use social media to people who use illicit substances. I think her husband is one of the people that she's talking about using illicit substances. Wow, he's really got his head in the clouds. He's on something here. And a human experiment? What? You're not making sense. Harry gave an interview to Fast Company that was published on Friday. He abhors social media and blames it for division and confusion in the world. He also says that he and Megs will return to it when it's right for us, but that it's inaccurate to say that they have quit. Harry had some advice for big tech. Be accountable and not just motivated by financial incentive. He said it's hard for me to understand how the platforms themselves can eagerly take profit but shun responsibility. Shun responsibility, that's something you would know a whole lot about. And eagerly taking profit? Yeah, you certainly eagerly take profit. Oh Lord, I think my partner is about to pull up in the driveway. The dogs are about to go crazy. Oh no, that's the neighbors. Never mind. He said that he and Meg wanted to be part of the human experience and not a human experiment. Well, if you're born on the planet, then you are a human, so you are experiencing the human experience. Boy, this guy's really on some stuff. Harry said he'd been thinking a lot about the Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, which he used to go past all the time. I'm sure it wasn't walking, it was probably in his chauffeur-driven Rolls. He said we should avoid buying into the idea that social media is the ultimate modern-day public square. His comments were mostly applauded, but some said it was ironic. He was lecturing tech about shunning responsibility for money. Oh, snap, didn't I just say that? Prince Harry today declared war on Silicon Valley by telling tech titans they should be motivated by well-being and not just financial incentive, in a lengthy interview about social media where he blamed it for the U.S. Capitol incident and the destruction of the rainforest. Says he and Smegs will rejoin it when it's right for us. When it's right for us is Harry and Meghan language for when they can make maximum profit off of it. Harry was interviewed by Fast Company, a monthly business magazine, for an article published on Friday, which is in Q&A format. What would a business magazine want to interview him for? What in the world does he know about business? It's unclear when or how. It's unclear why in the world a business magazine would want to interview a guy who has never made a penny of honest work in his life. Intense answers where he talks about the guiding principle of his life, the duty to truth and elevation of suffering, and the current consequences of the digital space. He claims that he and Megs received the mothership of all H words through social media and when they got married, and he also shared his views on how to reform it after spending much of 2020 consulting the experts on it. Experts. He did not name the experts. Of course he didn't. His wife is the only one he talked to. In February, the couple visited Stanford, which has strong ties to Silicon Valley, for a meeting with senior staff. Archewell, their charity, has also worked with the Center for Humane Technology and the UCLA Center for Critical Internet Inquiry. Harry and Megs are not on social media, but are making millions through podcasts on Spotify and shows on Netflix. Well, they haven't actually released any shows on Netflix yet, along with investments after controversially quitting Royal Life, which would never have allowed them to launch such money-spinning projects. His comments were mostly applauded, but some said it was ironic. He was lecturing tech about shunning responsibility for money. Now there's something that he could talk about with experience, shunning responsibility for money. In the interview, he says the pair want to be part of the human experience and not a human experiment, but that the current state of the tech world needs to be reformed, and Harry is just the one to do it because he knows so much about tech with all those big-time degrees that he has. There has to be accountability to collective well-being, not just financial incentive. It's hard for me to understand how the platforms themselves can eagerly take profit but shun responsibility, he said. And about Harry knowing about tech and how to reform it and all those big degrees he has, Harry couldn't even graduate from the McDonald's University of Burger Flipping. He's so dense. Harry, in his interview, said he and his wife had no social media to quit, and that it was fabricated by a Rupert Murdoch newspaper, and that they'll return to it when it's right for us. Sources close to the pair said that they'd given it up as a tool for promoting their projects. Oh, Harry has experience on being a tool, too. That's something he could talk about. Royal and branding experts have speculated the decision may be financially motivated. Of course it is. Everything with these two is financially motivated. No decision that they make is not financially motivated. You hit the nail right on the head there, buddy, because they become less accessible without it, and therefore more expensive. We will revisit social media when it feels right for us, perhaps when we see more meaningful commitments to change or reform, but right now, we've thrown much of our energy into learning about this space and how we can help, Harry said. He claims the pair experienced the nasty side of social media when they got married. I was really surprised to witness how my story has been told one way, my wife's story has been told one way, and then our union sparked something that made the telling of that story very different. That narrative became the mothership of for all the H word you're referring to. It wouldn't have even begun had our story just been told truthfully. Told truthfully. Your story? Let's see. Neither you nor your wife tell anything that's true, so how could your story be told truthfully? Later, he attributed world events like the January 6th thing that happened at the Capitol and the destruction of the Amazon rainforest to social media sites too. Yes, I completely understand how Facebook and Twitter have a role in what's going on in South America and the rainforest. That makes a whole lot of sense. There's a lot I could say right now, but I don't want to be banned from YouTube. There was a literal attack on democracy in the United States, organized on social media. Oh my. It was widely acknowledged that social media played a role in... you know what? This is such BS. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He might as well be talking about the chemical formula for, I don't know, oxygen or hydrogen. He knows nothing about it. I know as much about that as he does. Moving on. Harry claimed that he, from an early age, was guided by the principle of the duty to truth, the pursuit of compassion, and the alleviation of suffering. The duty to truth. He doesn't have any duty to truth. He nor his wife say anything that's true. You can't believe a word that comes out of their mouth. You can't trust them as far as you can pick up and throw Buckingham Palace. My life has always been about trying to do my part to help those who need it most. Yeah, you must be thinking of yourself. The only one you try to help is you and your wife. Oh, Lord. You see what I mean about the lies? It never stops. And we need this change because it touches nearly every single thing we do and are exposed to. He did not name any of the social media sites he has issues with, but calls on people to spend less time online. Consider setting limits on the time you spend on social media. Stop yourself from endlessly scrolling. Fact check the source and research the information you see, and commit to taking a more compassionate approach and tone when you post or comment. These might seem like little things, but they add up. There's a responsibility to compassion that we each own. Humans crave connection, social bonds, and a sense of belonging. When we don't have those, we end up fractured. And in the digital age, that can unfortunately be a catalyst for finding connection in mass extremism movements. You mean fractured the way your relationship with your family is fractured thanks to your deceptive and delirious wife, right? We need to take better care of each other, especially in these times of isolation. Asked, where do we go from here? He said, I ask the same thing every day and lean on the experts to help give guidance on how to reform the state of our digital world, how to make it better for our... Oh, I don't know where it went, but what does it matter? Because it's not going to make a hill of beans. It doesn't make any sense anyway because it came out of his mouth. Oh, wait, there it is. I'm so sorry. Our digital... How can we make it better for our kids, of course, but also for ourselves? Now, the avalanche of misinformation we are all inundated with is bending reality and has created this distorted filter that affects our ability to think clearly or even understand the world around us. He said that the pair wanted to be part of the solution, though. This is why my wife and I spent much of 2020 consulting experts. We've also been listening with empathy to people who have stories to share, including people who have been deeply affected by misinformation and those who grew up as digital natives. Meghan's probably been sitting around watching YouTube videos, acting lessons, how to show empathy, and practice. That's probably where they've been learning their empathy skills. What we hope to do is continue to be a spotlight for their perspectives and focus on harnessing their experience and energy to accelerate the pace of change in the digital world. I believe we can begin to make our digital world healthier, more compassionate, more inclusive, and trustworthy. And it's time to move from rethinking to remodeling, he said. Haven't you done enough remodeling? Hasn't your remodeling cost the UK taxpayers over £3 million? I think you should think about something else besides remodeling and the dangers of social media. Elsewhere, he said, don't get me wrong, this isn't over yet. Oh, this boy talks a lot. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that a reform of the digital space will create a world that's all rainbows and sunshine, because that's not realistic and that isn't life. There can be disagreement, conversation, opposing points of view, as there should be, but never to the extent that the V word is created, truth is mystified, and lives are jeopardized. Oh, there should be disagreement and conversation. That's why your podcast that you posted on YouTube for Archewell, you got the comments turned off for it. You were such a little hypocrite, both of you. Harry said that he and Megs have not had social media for 10 months since they officially left the royal family and shut down the Sussex royal Instagram. Their charity, Archewell, has an Instagram account, but nothing has been posted on it since mid-December. They have been holed up in Montecito in a $14 million mansion. Everything that they write about these two, they cannot fail to mention how much that darn mansion cost. Royal experts speculated that the pair have avoided social media to safeguard their content after monetizing it so effectively with Netflix and Spotify. I told you it was all about money with these two. That's why they're holding out on social media, to make the most money they can when they get back on it. All roads lead to cash, quid, coinage, whatever you want to call it, with Harry and Meghan. They have also given at least one paid speech for a bank. When they were royals, the pair complained about press intrusion. That's why they moved to LA, where there's no press. They quit in January 2020, saying they wanted a more private life, which would let them pursue their passions. Oh, dear me. That was such a load of hogwash. Oh, I wish I hadn't eaten dinner right before I read this. I ate a few eggs. I fried them really well done in some olive oil, salt and pepper. It was delicious. Oh my goodness. Before I go, everybody, I just want to tell you something. My partner, I thought this was funny. You might not think it's funny. I don't know. My partner got laid off from his job because of everything that's going on in the world right now. And the last few days, he's just been sitting around watching dog videos on YouTube. And I said to him, I said, if you wanted to like looking at other people's pets, you could go for a walk in the neighborhood, see people walking their dogs, and at least that way you could get some fresh air and sunshine. And he said, I don't want any fresh air and sunshine. I said, okay then. I said, well, what's your plan? He said, my plan is to watch dog videos. And I said, well, at least you have a plan. There you go. Anyway, I thought that was funny. But nah, he's getting another job. Yeah. So, anyway, tips are greatly appreciated, everybody. There's my PayPal info. There's my social media. Oh, my. And thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit the notification button. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye-bye for now.